Well, I'm moving along here on Mr. Softail. I figured out how all this wiring goes on the dash panel. I managed to get the flasher in there. I've just got a jumper wired in right now. But I figured out the left and right turn signals. Oh, I have to jump this to the hot wire. Forgot about that. Yeah. I think that does it. Anyway, turn signals work. There we go. You got left and right hooked up. And they're turning off with handlebar. But I was only using one bulb here. I had to brake for one side and tail light for the other. The right side flashed everything. So I got myself a little thing here. This little cheap Chinese doohickey. I was able to tap a couple bolts up into there, and it's got these running lights are plastic. The turn signals are actually metal. It looks kind of stupid, but at least I'll have turn signals there, and I can run the wires, and I can run them left and right separate, so I can tell if I got my flashers and stuff worked out. This is just hanging here right now. I'll go ahead and see if I can tighten it up, and I'll start running some lights to it. Well, I got that sorted out pretty good. My right turn signal there. You can see it's blinking there. Go to the left. Indicator's working. Signals there. And of course, if I hook in the back ones down there, they work too. And left and right. Don't have the controller box. I'm not sure how it would wired, but I've got left and right when I turn the switches on and it goes off. I'll show you the front here. On. They're not very good. They're just little bulbs. Tail light bulbs are not very bright or anything. They're not like they're anything very good, but they're hooked up. I just got them running to a white wire here for lights, so all my harness there is good. And I've got the rest of this. I've just got these right now running into the wire. Just well, you can see what I did. I just kind of hooked them up to the terminal, but I'll splice and solder these all together and clean up this how this goes into this harness here. So anyway, I got my front turn signals in and the harness done. I'll have to run a speedometer cable up here. I think it goes through this little bracket right here, and up into the speedometer. I don't have the speedometer light hooked up, but I've got pretty much everything all done here. Now I just have to clean it up and make good connections. And that I've got the flasher sitting back here right now. I'd like to get it up in there. I've got one pink wire with an end on it here. Probably use that for half of the flasher, and I'll run the key power to the other side of the flasher. So everything should be good. That's an old Harley, and I was kind of disgusted every time I touched something that fell apart or was bad. But looks like this clutch is really not set right either. Got the wrong bolts in it. Anyway, I'm starting to have a little affinity for the thing. I think those headlights look kind of stupid, but that's a way I could get turn signals on it. I've got a little skull tail light and turn signals coming. Ordered out of China. It's taken a while, but anyway, I can at least get my wires and everything ran here. And I've got to run a wire here. This big bolt down in here is supposed to be a oil sending unit, pressure switch. I'll run the wires down for that, and should have the wiring pretty much done on this thing. Next will just be kind of bolting it together. I'm going to paint these tanks. I got some good black paint coming in this fender. I'll pull all this off of here, put at least a good black paint job on it. I'd like to paint it black and orange and yellow flames, you know, but we'll see. Black paint was the cheapest, and even that was almost $100 for a quart. So when I spilled gas on the tank there and it just took all the paint off, the guy, of course, was so proud of his paint job when he sold it to me, and it looked all right. Little did I know that you know, it was just spray can paint, never going to be any good. I've got these push rod things here. They need to be painted black. They're rusty. I've got another air cleaner coming for it. This is supposed to be the choke holder here. I don't know what kind of choke that thing's supposed to have. It's S&S carb. Anyway, a lot of little stuff still hanging fire, but we're getting there. We just don't have it done yet. Well, we're back here on a Harley again. I got a horn came. It goes right there. And I thought I was going to use this pink wire here for a flasher. Turns out that that's actually the horn wire. I hooked it up and it works. So all I got to do is bolt this in here, hook the wire up, and I'll finish sorting this mess here out. Figure out where to put my flasher. I might do something with that relay there. And kind of move on with the wiring. Bring it back when I got some of this done. Well, here it is, about done. I got my relays, or not relays, but circuit breakers kind of tied up good here, and all the wires right. Got the horn on. All my ignition switch works. I've got the neutral and oil light. There's a right turn signal, left turn signal. There's my lights are on. Got high beam, low beam. Everything looks good. And starter works. Everything's hooked up. I want to turn this relay around. I don't want those bare wires sticking up into the tank. But now I can put the tank on and make sure everything fits here. And then I've got my neutral wires and oil pressure wires are coming through here, going down through the tank, and that'll be pretty good. I can just hook those up, and basically the wiring job is done. I'll just have to put the tank on, make sure everything's clear and good, and I have to get me some kind of a indicator bulb for this thing and get it mounted on. I've got some bulbs there in the old dash light. I don't know if those will work or not. I'll try to pull this one out and see if it'll fit the speedometer. I don't know if it will or not. Looks like they were glued in there. We'll see if this one will fit. And we'll just take a look here real quick. Yeah, it looks like it will fit. It's not right. Maybe I'll just buy another one for that, or try to figure out something, another way of doing it. Anyway, this is all pretty much done. Looks pretty nice. A lot nicer than it was. And go ahead and try to finish up some stuff. I've got a white wire here. I'm not sure what that's going to, and I've got a provision for a plug-in. I think that's my lighting circuit breaker there. And then I have to figure out some way of mounting this flasher. Don't know whether I'll mount it back here. It looks like I probably should. I just have to get a key on power to this thing. Right now it's just straight hook up to power. But enough for the tank. Just make sure it all fits and press on from there. And looks like the wires are pretty good here. Don't think I have anything touching. I still got a bunch of hoses and stuff to hook up on the tanks. But at least my wiring harness is all out of the way. I've got a screwdriver in it right now. See if I can take that out. Went on pretty good. I've got a hell of a lot of room down in there where these wires are going through, but it looks like they'll move into where I need it. So that's good enough for the wiring. Drop my camera or my phone. Busted lens. Anyway, looks like it's still working. I've got some stuff that repairs cracks. I'll try to use it on it. Anyway, that looks like it'll work. And I'll move on to hooking up this flasher and the rest of this electronics. And then I'll sort out what needs to be happening with this tank and crossover hoses and all that stuff. That'll kind of be another project. I know there's one that goes across here, side to side. There's another one on the bottom that hooks up to this tank. There's no gas or anything in that tank right now. The only one that's got gas in it's this one. We'll move on and see what happens. Harley stuff. It's a bolt that goes into the brake line, which is a brake line switch. I hope it's going to be the right one. It looks like. I thought there was a bolt right here, but it's not. It's just one line. So it looks like I have to put it in here. Either there or down on the bottom. I think it'll probably look best down on the bottom. I can run the wire up the hose. So we'll take that apart and see what I got. Well, it turns out there's a brake light switch up in there. I kind of thought there was, but I ordered the other one anyway. Didn't work. Wrong threads. I traced it down here. Red and an orange wire. And the switch is not working. And I got to take all that off there. So I'm not gonna mess with that at this point. At least I know the wires are here. I'll go ahead and start making my harness for the rear tail light and turn signals and everything. And get that all wired up and put in there. And my rear brake light switch is down there. So I have two wires. I've got my neutral and my oil pressure light running down through the tank. And so I'll put a couple more wires in that. And I can bring this whole harness down here and start mocking up the wiring harness for this thing. I think this is where the turn signals went in it before. I'm not sure. But they're going to be mounted on a rear fender. I've got that Chinese tail light turn signal stuff, so we should be good to go here. And I'll just start making my wiring harness. Got this air cleaner here. Of course, nothing fit. It's supposed to be 3 bolts that holds it on to the carburetor, and then these 2 bolts go into the head. The head bolts were stripped, so I re-tapped them, and I got 2 bolts on it, and these 3 carburetor bolts are completely different than what's on the carburetor. So I tapped the plastic. I put 3 1/2-inch bolts in here, and it's all pretty solid. I'll probably have to make a little gasket in there if I don't want it to leak. But it looks like it's all going to fit on there. I don't have an air cleaner for it. I'm not sure which way this gasket goes. Probably goes on this. But anyway, I think I've got it ready to put together. Well, I got this mounted. I used 1/2-inch bolts on it all the way around. I don't have an air filter, but I can put the cover on. See what that looks like. Well, I didn't have a fancy chrome bolt, but it's too short. But I got another one in it. It's on good. Plenty solid. So there's my air cleaner done. I guess I'll continue with this taillight wiring stuff here. I got this plug out of here. I got a new oil sending unit, but it's way too big for that. So that's a Ford one. And I managed to get it in. It was quite a trick. I had to use a crow's foot to tighten up, but I got it tightened up, and I don't think it'll leak. Now I'll go ahead and start running my wires for this thing, make sure it's all going to work. Done, and my neutral and oil lights working. Lights still work. So that's pretty much the end of the wiring problems here. I have to run one more down here to the, you see down there the little brake switch. I've got this yellow wire set up as a positive, and it'll go to the brake switch, and then from there it'll come back up into this harness here to go up into the fender. I tried this shorter fender on it. Looks pretty good, but I'm afraid the tail light I ordered is more like this one. That's a kind of a bad angle for the thing. I do like that shorter fender, but it needs to go down here somewhere. I also like, I've got plenty of room up in there, and that fender's really covers it up, makes it hard to get bolts in. But that fender does make it look pretty good. Haven't really completely made up my mind what I'm going to do there. This one does have a hole in it for the seat. And it's missing a big piece in the front there, which will be throwing mud and water and stuff up in there. This one goes down quite a bit further. So I'm pretty much decided I'm going to use this big fender here. And I'll have to get my harness put up in there. This one's got 2 wires in that harness, and I need that'd be for brake and tail, and I need a left and right turn signal on it. So I got to shove 2 more wires up in it. But I think that's what I'll do, is try to make this fender work. Even though I do kind of like the bobber look of this one, I think the tail light and turn signals are going to look stupid on it, so I'll put it on that one. If I wanted, I could always cut that fender off. Anyway, that's what I'll do, is go back to work on this original fender that was on it and get it sorted. I got it all wired up here into the harness. I got it written down here. I got this all heat shrinked up. I got some connectors here. They're going to go right up inside the fender. And I got enough length there to go to the tail light. So this harness is ready to go. The brake light's good. Left and right turn signals and tail light. So this rear section is kind of finished. I gotta put the harness inside the fender and then mount the fender back on. I'm going to paint it first. I found a big plug in here where they had just bondoed it up. That's where the seat mount goes. I'll just weld a nut into that, and that should bolt my seat down. The guy said he had another seat, but since he broke his leg, haven't seen him. Anyway, so that's I like the other fender better, but this one does have a certain style to it. I really can't do much until I get a tail light, but at least I can run my wires back here. That should be enough. I might have cut them a little short. I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking about. I should have just made them a foot longer and cut a foot off, but I didn't. Anyway, so Mr. Harley's getting closer. All my dash lights, neutral light, oil light, everything works, switch works. I've got an indicator for the speedometer. Still don't have the right cable. I'll have to do a little measuring, try to see what I can do. You know, God knows what this front end's off of, or the speedometer either. So one I got was too big on the speedometer end, and it was also too big to screw into the sender down on the bottom of the front wheel. Anyway, pretty close here. Got another day of sanding and painting at least. Probably one day to sand it and primer it, and then I'll squirt the paint on it, and maybe I can get back to work on this thing. Got an interesting offer. A guy offered me the 65 Mustang 289 4-speed K-code, and this is only ever going to be worth about 20 grand, and that Mustang is, you know, in real nice shape, it's probably worth 30, and it'll always get a little more valuable. Anyway, I think I got enough video here to give you a little bit of Harley update, and we'll see you later. Be sure to like and subscribe if you will.